Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah, it is about economics actually. It's in economics there's a concept of rationality which has a very specific definition. It's often used by free market economists and particularly Adam Smith's followers. Adam Smith was a 18th century economist, part of the Scottish Enlightenment, and his theories of the free market economics, they're often hinged on assumptions, big assumptions, and one of them is a rational consumer. Which a rational consumer has two main attributes, like assumed attributes. One of them is self-interest, which is where they aim to maximize their own utility. Utility just means like a general life satisfaction. And then the other assumption is that they have perfect information, so they're well informed about the market. If one person raises their price above the market price, they won't go to that person. They'll go to someone who's at the market price. Things like that. So they're perfect information. And if these assumptions hold in Adam Smith's view, and many of the free market economists, the market's all clear that there'll be the social optimum will be reached basically. So the utility will be highest and wealth will be highest. But I'm in this talk I'm going to be questioning: would the market be optimized if we were all rational? I mean, it's easy to criticize the assumption of perfect information, obviously, because people don't know everything. But I'm going to focus more on the other assumption, self-interest, which was believed a lot by people of the time. Adam Smith believed that if everyone worked for themselves, the market and society as a whole would fall into place. And market failure is only caused by government intervention. But is that true? We're going to look at a couple of applications that assess that belief. Just as a note, we're not assessing if people are rational, just because in general they aren't really, but we're just assessing if being rational is better for society. This is the first one we're going to go through is the prisoner's dilemma. This was thought up in the 1950s and it was later developed by John Nash, who we're going to mention later on as well. The prisoner's dilemma models a scenario where two suspects are interrogated separately. So they're put into two separate rooms and they're interrogated. If they both stay silent, they'll get lenient, but they will get sentenced for about 2 years. In our model, we're going to say 2 years. If they both snitch on each other, they'll get 5 years in prison, which is a harsher sentence. If one of them snitches and the other one stays silent, the one who snitches will get set free, and the one who stays silent will get 8 years. So if you consider yourself, you're one of the suspects in the room, and if you think in your head, okay, this person's going to snitch, you have two options: stay silent or snitch yourself. If you stay silent, then you'll get 8 years, but if you snitch, then you'll get 5 years. So your better option is to snitch. If you think in your head, okay, that person's going to stay silent, you have the same two options. If you snitch, then you will be set free, but if you stay silent, then you will get 5 years. Sorry, you will get 2 years. So your better option again is to snitch. So the rational solution to that is that they're both inform on each other to the police. So this is a net negative for their condition. This is what John Nash, this was his main theory, called the Nash equilibrium. The principle, they use it in real police interrogations where they separate people into different rooms and they interrogate them separately. And it can be applied to a lot of other scenarios. For example, the EU competition policy, where they try and convict cartels, which are just large firms who agree to artificially raise the market price. They'll offer leniency to a firm that snitches, which causes uncertainty in any agreement, so that they will eventually they catch them and get rid of it. So they'll lower the market price. Now we're going to switch to look into public goods. Public goods are goods that everyone as a society benefits from. No one can be excluded from its benefit, and someone who benefits from it shouldn't have to pay more based on their use of it. For example, flood defense, where there's a wall on a seafront, protects the citizens from flooding. Everyone benefits, and if you benefit from it in a certain scenario, you don't have to pay more. Public goods, they need a supply. If all citizens are self-interested, they would like to benefit from the public good, but they don't want to contribute. So this is a problem called free riding, and it exists in real life as well. So free riding is the rational solution, but it's not the social optimum. Society experiences a net negative from rational consumers. Again, to reach a social optimum and eliminate free riding, you often require government intervention by redistributing using taxes. Or you have a moral society, but this is England we're talking about. And if you this principle of public goods and free riding is you can apply it to a lot of other examples. For example, national defense. If you have an army, you're protecting the whole society. You're just dissuading other armies from invading you. And this kind of, but free people will not pay into it if they're not taxed, basically. Another example, interesting one I thought of is Fard Kifaya, the obligations that it's not everyone has to do it. It's just certain people in a society have to do it. If everyone was a rational consumer, then no one would do it, because you have to dedicate some of your own time to studying this, to applying it. But if you're rational, you won't want to do that. But in real life, people are moral, and they will stay away from free riding, and they will apply the principle of the public good. Thank you for listening. That's the end of my talk.